Hargett. I'm Tennessee's Secretary of State. We're in the middle of early voting, and so I'm visiting many counties around the state, and I'm recording this from the Doubletree Hotel in Johnson City, Tennessee, which is a long way from Martin, Tennessee. So delighted to have the opportunity.
Good afternoon. First question, did you attend college?
Yes, I attended Memphis State University, where I got my undergraduate BBA in accounting, and I also attended the University of Memphis. After Memphis State University became the University of Memphis and got an MBA in concentration in marketing.
Okay. And your job that you have right now, is this originally what you thought you were going to do? Is this part of the plan, or did you have something else in mind?
Well, when I was in college, I really thought that I would run for governor at some point. But I also didn't expect running for Secretary of State whenever I was 39 years old either. So, I just found that God has a way of taking you and putting you where He wants you. So,
right.
So many opportunities for people that don't even know exist. And so I'm delighted to have this one.
Right. After you graduated, was there a lot of extra training that you had to do to get to where you are, or continued education?
Well, to be Secretary of State, there are really no qualifications that are required. Now, you have to be elected by the Tennessee General Assembly, so you have to be able to win a majority vote there. But I think there are many different things that can prepare you for this job. But I think one of the best things that prepared me was some of the management experience I had when I worked for a publicly traded ambulance company where I managed a budget over 30 million people and $30 million and 500 people.
Okay.
People be a lot with it.
Right.
So, that prepared me to have to make difficult budget decisions and personnel decisions. Things that are really hard to learn in a textbook.
Right. The interpersonal part.
Yes, ma'am. Well, and one of the hardest decisions you ever make whenever you're working is a personnel decision where you may have to, not have somebody work alongside you anymore. So that's one of the worst things that can happen. And also causes you to examine, did you do right by the employee? Did they fire themselves? What led up to that, and figure out how you and as an organization, you could have done something different.
Right. Can you give us a breakdown of a daily, like what you do every day, or is your schedule different day to day?
It's different every day, but I'll kind of give you I'll kind of walk you through the last 3 days that I've had pretty quickly. Start on Tuesday, but we had an event on Monday morning. We just scheduled it prior to the election. So Monday morning at 6:45, I left the Capitol and we drove to Memphis for a 10 o'clock press conference with the Memphis Grizzlies.
Mm-hmm.
Nashville around 2:30, and got to do a little bit of office work, signing purchase requests, travel authorizations, orders, and resident proclamations, etc. And 4 o'clock, I had to be at Bridgestone Arena in Nashville to do something with the Predators. The office was able to do about another 30 minutes worth of work, catch up on emails, and then went to Columbia, Tennessee, which is about an hour and a half south of Nashville. Maybe just an hour 15 south of Nashville. Left there and drove to Chattanooga, and I got to Chattanooga about 11:45 Eastern Standard Time, and got up the next morning. We had an 8 a.m. Eastern radio interview, followed by a visit at the County Library to present a grant, and then we had several other visits throughout Bradley and Hamilton County throughout the day, which I finally finished all of those, and my last Zoom call around 5:30, and a long day. Then today, or yesterday, we got up and started early voting at Hamilton County Election Commission at 8 o'clock, right when they opened. And throughout the day, I was in 8 different counties and made 10 different stops to see how early voting is going in some of the counties throughout Southeast and East Tennessee. And got up this morning and started again, and I was in Newport, Tennessee, in the Election Commission there, visiting the library as well. Libraries are an important piece of what we do.
Mm-hmm.
Washington County, where I am right now, marks the 5th county I've been in today and about the 8th stop I've made.
Oh my gosh. So would you say then that one of the biggest, most important skills for you is time management, like in general, or is there something else?
That's a great question, Isabel, and I think it's important. I'm fortunate to be surrounded by really good teammates who can help me manage that.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to really want to work really hard all day long. Everything I can possibly done, and most days we'll skip lunch just so we can get as much done as possible. I'm not entitled to this office, and so the limited time that I have here, I want to make the most of it. And I think Tennessee taxpayers deserve my best.
Right. Would you say, is there anything in particular that's like a big, outstanding lesson that you've learned since becoming the secretary?
Choose your words carefully, and I think is one of the things. And a lot of times your first instinct is right, but you need to be very well thought out, about why that is the right decision to make. And also surrounding yourself with great people. Try to surround yourself with people smarter than you are. So those are a few of the lessons that I guess I've known for a while. There are a lot of things that I want to say they're pretty witty at times. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty smart, and they're funny for a moment, but they're not funny for a life. And so I figure I have to be really careful about choosing my words carefully, taking other people's feelings into consideration, whether it's in the public domain or behind closed doors.
Right. Did you do a lot of networking and reaching out to people to get to your job, or did you kind of already have connections?
Well, that's a great question. So in Tennessee, we are elected by the legislature as Secretary of State. I think in your home state, where you're from, the Secretary of State is elected in a statewide vote. Mm-hmm. Is Colorado correct?
Sorry, you broke out.
Does your family live in Colorado?
Yes.
So, there the Secretary of State's elected in a statewide election. I served 5 terms in the House of Representatives, so I had a lot of contacts among representatives and senators to be able to go to them and seek out their vote to serve as Secretary of State. And I look at it like this. I interview for my job every day. The things that I do have a great opportunity to either build on the reputation that I've built or to tear down the reputation I've built. Right. So, networking helps, but every day is my job interview.
Right. How important do you think it is to be like 100% committed? Like, do you feel like you have off days? Are you allowed off days, or do you have to be on it all the time?
Oh, I feel like I have some off days. Even this past Saturday, I was able to kind of take some time and go for a run and decompress and kind of spend a little time with my wife that day. And so, but right now for the next 2.5 weeks, I'll be on all the time. And probably a little bit after that. And then I'll go back in the season asking the legislature to vote for me again this coming January as I run for re-election. So I don't want to lead you to believe it's all hardship. I mean, have a fantastic opportunity to serve my fellow Tennesseans. And if I didn't think it was worth it, I wouldn't do it.
Right. What would you say the best piece of advice you can give to somebody who's up and coming in the political realm, or who maybe wants to be a governor, to be somebody like that? What advice do you have for them?
Well, interesting question. Somebody very close to me sent me a text this morning. They're getting ready to go to college, and they said, if I want to do politics as a career, what degree should I get? And, and most people would say, well, go pre-law, be a lawyer with a science degree. Mm-hmm. And, and for me personally, I just think you need to find something that you enjoy doing and develop a track record of success. And if that means that, you're going to work at Subway and making sandwiches, be the best darn sandwich maker you can be and know good customer service skills, and don't be scared to meet people, and develop a track record of accomplishment and whatever you want to do. So that's what I tell people. I think there are a lot of different paths to success in the world of politics. But I would also say that find people that you want to support and believe in, mm-hmm. and help them. Because the best way to learn about it is to know what it's like to go out. If you want to run for office, the best training you can get is go out with another candidate and learn what it's like to knock on doors and ask people to vote for your candidate or vote for yourself.
Yeah.
And ask people to let you put up a yard sign. And you need to learn how to accept no. So the path is not always easy. So I just really encourage people to get out and learn what it's all about. Because a lot of people think in politics that you walk around, you dress nice, and you get to make a lot of big decisions. There's work involved, and anything worth doing requires hard work. If I can give one other piece of advice to anybody starting a career, it's about you are developing your brand right now. The things you say and do are the things that will be about or be what people remember about you. And also, it's one thing to the face-to-face conversations we have, but it's another thing about how you develop your brand on social media. Um, you know, think about when you post a photo or when you say something, what message are you sending to people? And also recognize that the people who are following you are not always your friends. You might think you have it locked down. All it takes is one person to get mad at you, screenshot something, send it out, and you have to live with that. And future employers could be looking at those things, the things you say and do, and figuring out, do they want to be associated with you? So be very careful. Social media can be a very good thing. It can also be a very dangerous thing.
Right. I think that's a good thing to keep in mind throughout, especially as we get more and more involved in technology.
Yes, ma'am.
My final question for you is, even though you're busy all the time and it takes a lot of work, are you happy with where you're at and do you enjoy your job?
I do. This has been a tough year. It's been a tough year for a lot of people. And,
Right.
We've been through numerous lawsuits regarding elections this time, and there was a lot of strain on election officials across the country.
Mm-hmm.
But, what I tell myself is, not everything is supposed to be convenient. Not everything is supposed to be fun. But things that are worth doing require hard work, and it's not always easy. And so, you have to do what you believe God has called you to do. And I believe for this season of my life, this is where God wants me. Now, in January, He might want me somewhere else. It might not be clear to me. But, I accept the opportunity I've been given and I'm grateful for it.
All right. Well, I feel like we got a lot of really good information out of this. Thank you for sparing this time to come and speak with me, and I really appreciate everything you had to say.
Let me visit with you, and I hope that some nugget of what I've said can be useful to somebody out there. All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, too. Have a good rest of your day.
You too. Bye-bye.